8-time Russian champion Peter Svidler, a friend of the club, of course, came in at the last minute to replace a good friend of his as you were coming here to do commentary. Peter, yesterday, before we talk about today's draws, yesterday must have been a heartbreak game.
Yeah, that wasn't great because I think in terms of quality of play, until I played 98, I feel like it was one of the better games I've played in a while. I felt like I found some decent decisions. I understand computer criticizes some small things, but there were some things there that I think I've handled well. And yeah, one move away from brain glitches are something I'm kind of used to by this point, but it's very unfortunate when like your one real glitch per game just loses you the game instantly. Like there's no coming back. You go 98, you resign. And yeah, that wasn't very enjoyable, but yeah, I got some of it back today, because today was, I think I played worse today than I played yesterday.
This move, Bishop A3, shocked us all.
Yeah, I couldn't really figure out what I'm supposed to do, and that's also, that's already kind of a, a severe indictment in itself, because it's a theoretical position. But I wasn't entirely sure what to play for, and obviously this was connected with a miscalculation, because I kind of underestimated how playable knight takes c3 is. That's not to say that other moves are bad for black. Yeah, knight g5 I saw, but like I don't like it. I don't think it's particularly great. I kind of considered similar things and did not. Yeah, I think basically I was like half a step away from actually solving this position, because I considered bishop g5, but bishop g5. No, I mean with white. And bishop g5 with white is not that great, because it allows knight f4 in all these positions. Like takes knight f4 is already quite unpleasant. And yeah, I just like knight g5 seemed vague enough that I didn't really consider it properly. I assume black is still like even bishop g5 f6 followed by bishop e6. I probably take black in that position, to be honest. But yeah, it's better than what I played. But what I played was, it's very principled. It just doesn't work. Because like if knight d2 actually works out tactically, I quite like my idea. But yeah, there's also now that I'm finally here and I can do my actual job, which is talk about chess. Yeah. Instead of knight takes c3, b5 was incredibly dangerous. Ooh. I was actually I wouldn't say this is stronger, but I think it more or less forces me to take on d5. And I was trying to calculate this position, queen d5. I think I have to play c4. I don't think I have time to play knight e4, bishop e7. So I have to play c4. And now queen d3, rook e3, queen g6. Specifically queen g6, I think. C takes b5, knight e7. And it's very possible I'm getting, specifically knight e7, yeah, with knight d5, knight f5 ideas. And what I was calculating in like sheer panic was the position after knight takes e5. And first of all, even taking on bishop b7 is strong, but the problem is queen f5 here. Yeah, I mean, here I think I found a way to save the game with like specifically knight f3. I think doesn't lose. I'm not really convinced about anything I think about chess these days, but this I thought might be. Yeah, the bishop on a3 is horrible, but I am a pawn up, and I will be able maybe to trade some pieces. But instead of that, yeah, queen f5, and when wherever I put my knight from d2, like c2, c4 or f3, doesn't matter. Black just goes bishop b7, and now knight d5, knight f4, rook a d8, knight g6, all these things, and I only have one pawn to show for it. Like if I were 3 up here, maybe I'd be somewhat optimistic, but I'm only 1 up here.
Yeah, nice coordination.
And yeah, it looked like I'm kind of borderline lost here, so I was panicking, trying to figure out how to improve on this, and then Shah took on c3, and I realized it's also possible to be quite straightforward. And I think what I did is more or less strictly forced. I don't think I can improve up until queen e6, king h8. And yeah, and as another participant of this tournament famously wrote about pawns moving backwards, if that thing was on b3 instead of b5, I'd be much better actually, but it's not. Yeah. I don't
here
know.
you're struggling.
Yeah,
to
I don't
make
know
a
if this
draw,
endgame is
but-
like mathematically lost or not, but I was actually much more. This felt to me like, as usual, rook endings kind of give you chances. I was, instead of b6, I thought a5 is probably winning. With the idea of playing a4 and stabilizing the knight on b5, meaning that I probably have to play a4, knight c3, rook c7, knight a4, and I've progressed Black's game plan tremendously. I can play knight b3 here, and it gets a little bit tricky because like every single pawn on the queen side is currently hanging, considering the back rank problems. But it felt to me that, you know, with precise play, this has to be bad. Yeah, b6, and I was planning to play some kind of a passing move here. I don't know, f4 or whatever. Start pushing something forward and hope that this is somehow not lost. But
Right.
It looked really, really scary to me, and I couldn't see how to avoid it because, like, if I allow the pawn to get to a4, I will never shift the knight from b5, and then I don't really know how to, you know, how to even press.
Exactly.
And eventually, bad things will start happening on the queen side with 4 against 2.
I think you nailed it beautifully well there, Peter.
Yeah,
that
so
a5.
yeah, I think that was probably cleaner, but I think Shah underestimated just how tricky that rook ending was that we got in the game. I assume it's winning somehow, but I also think it's not trivial. He was saying that maybe rook d8 instead of rook f8, maybe rook d8, king c2, rook e8 might be winning. But you already have to start, you know, giving up your entire queen side here to, you know, collect my entire king side, and, you know, we might be off to some sort of races, and I might hold.
The engine gives you as drawing this position as well. So.
Okay. Yeah, so as usual, you know, I always assess these positions like I basically take a look at the score sheet, figure out which side I'm playing, and that side does as poorly as is possible to do in the position, right? So, like if I were black, it would be a draw, and since I was white, I assumed I will lose it somehow. But I wasn't, you know, going to just resign. I'm still going to try to make the best moves, and you know, eventually that turned out to be okay.